Well, that was a discreet little title sequence, wasn't it? Welcome to Pimp My Regs. This is where we're going to give you some tips on exam technique and how you can prepare the book ready for the exam and indeed for your study.
This is what it's all about. It's all about saving time and getting you prepared and making the best of your time in that exam.
Yeah, and also on the job, of course, because when you're referring to the regs on the job, you can still use tabs to find your way around. And remember, there are electronic versions of the regs around, and they're brilliant for study. You can find things very easily. They're convenient to carry with you, but you can't use them in an exam. You have to take a book into the exam with you. So this session is really about preparing your book for the exam. And indeed, with the electronic thing, no phones either.
No phones, Dave. It's a device, especially now that they're smartphones, you can get on the internet. So it's basically phones to one side or in a box. And I do suggest taking along a scientific calculator. Some centres, training bodies and that may loan you them, but I'll take your own. They're not that expensive these days.
I just do it all in my head, Gary.
Oh, you're amazing, Dave.
I remember back to 2008 or whenever it was when I took my 17th.
I've been looking at that.
Yeah, I know. Look, it's great. And I dragged it out today because it's a real example of how to prepare a book for an exam. I see you did the same thing though. You got the old
yeah, okay. I mean, obviously, if you're learning on the course, then having something like this is invaluable to sort of get your way around the book, and I think that does help. Being a hardened trainer and very experienced engineer, I have just put the numbers and for the appendices, and that's good enough for me because I do know which section is which and which part is covered in there. So that really helps me. But we're all into Pimp My Regs, so we've gone to another level. How good is that?
Silence. Silence.
Silence. You're stunned, I know. But I mean, look at the colour coding for all the parts and then all of the appendices.
And the thing that won't necessarily be immediately obvious, they're not just these colours because that's pretty. We've done these colours because that correlates with the way that the online course is colour-coded. So each of the parts, as you work through them, your screen or the decoration on the screen will be in that colour. So it starts to mentally reinforce for you that part 3 is a pale blue and that part 7 is a red. Now that helps at the end. We have an exam simulator that if you take the exam and you're not quite sure, you can turn on the colour and it'll tell you at least which part of the section or part of the regs the question comes from. There's just a little aid memoir for you.
Yeah, so if you're struggling, that'll be great. And obviously you can switch it on and off as you like. So,
just a thought about what actually is allowed and what's not, Gary.
Yeah.
So I noticed that, the IET say that we can use
yeah, I've
tabs.
looked on their website. They're running an exam with the sitting guilds, and on there it says you're allowed to highlight and flag tag. So
the only thing is, you wouldn't be allowed to do that, would you?
Yeah, no, you're not allowed any loose sheets of paper, so that would have to go. But certainly, sticker-on flag tags to get you to your section or part is good, and we will be able to colour code.
Yeah. So you just takes your eye to the place on the page you want.
Yeah,
and you can choose a colour that's relevant, so a different colour for British Standard.
Absolutely, that's the way I do it. I mean, some people do stick to one colour. So if you wanted to do yellow, I would avoid doing a whole paragraph because there's just 4 lines of text to look through rather than just that British Standard. So pick the lighter colours, go for British Standard numbers, go for a value like 70 degrees C, or you might want a ZS value or something like that, maybe even table numbers. But it really does help highlight that.
Right then, Gary Gundry, there's your regs book.
Right, okay.
There's your sheet.
Okay, so
off you go.
I've got 7 parts, 15 appendices, so let's...
It's a very enjoyable process, but we don't want to watch you do it. We've, in the best Blue Peter fashion, prepared one earlier there.
Look at that. Thank you very much, Dave. That saved, just several minutes, actually.
So there is it, all the parts, and as you turn the page, it just takes you to the relevant section. It's not rocket science, but it's pretty, it's colour-coordinated for the exam. It'll help your study.
That's well worth the time. I mean, I've delivered so many courses on 16th and 17th, and now I'm going to be doing on the 18th edition. This will get you to the right part in seconds, literally. If you're thinking about construction sites or something, you're going to be thinking part 7, and I haven't got to sort of thumb through the whole book. Part 7, I just take my tab, turn straight to the page, and I'm there. But there's 20 sections here, so I've got to think, right, okay, whereabouts? I know it's in here somewhere, so I'd have to read down there, and I'm... Fourth one down, 704?
Yeah, and I see you've actually put the page numbers in.
Yeah, I've got to say, this is a great tip as well. Do put the page number next to each section, and that way you will be able to... section 704 is
256.
256. So turn straight to 256. You're not going to 265 and coming back and forth, it's straight there. And if you can save yourself 10, 15, 20 seconds on every question like that, because you're going to get at least 10, 12 questions on part 7, this will save you several minutes. Now, talking about exams, I think when it comes to a question, if you get a difficult one, leave it till the end and then come back and give those extra 2-4 minutes you've saved on that one. You like that one?
Yeah.
I do. Don't just stop at this section with numbering up there. When you're in, say, chapter 5.4 on earthing and bonding or special measures, protective measures, put some extra page numbers on there because that'll help you as well. They're just like mini markers. Now, are you a bit worried about marking up the page? If you went to Appendix 1, the IET have already done it for us, which is quite nice. It would have been nice to have it everywhere, but you know, it's time and that, and they're dynamically created, so these things are sort of fluid until the end. But you know, it works. So
it's all about making it work for you, isn't it? I mean, nothing we've talked about will pass the exam for you, but it just makes the process a bit easier, navigating a bit easier, revising a bit easier, and then in the heat of the moment when you are in a pressure situation of an exam, saves you a few seconds. So the secret is, pimp your regs.